What is up guys, my name is Ben, welcome back to another tutorial on Photoshop. Now, last tutorial we looked at opening a document, saving a document, all the different tools on file, and basically everything you can do regarding the document and setting up. In this tutorial today, I'm going to be talking about the selection tools and going through the process of what you can do with them, just so you can basically manipulate shapes and manipulate how to copy layers and move layers around. Next episode, I'll be focusing on brush tools and kind of using the spot healing tool a bit, and I'll go further into detail in that in the next video. However, if you enjoy this tutorial, please be sure to leave a like. It would be really appreciated. I spend my time doing these and I really appreciate your support, and hopefully this helps you guys. So let's get straight into the video. Right, so here I am with my document full of squares. Now what I'm going to be doing with these squares is I'm going to be using the selection tools and the moving tools, and I'm going to show you how to use each of them. So what we're going to do first is we're going to use the move tool. Now what this does is it creates a box around here. If you can't see that box, just press this little checklist up here. Now the first thing I'm going to show you about this is if you want to select an area, hence I've got my background selected here. If you want to select a certain layer, hold Control on your keyboard and left click any part of the layer that you want to select, and it'll just jump to it. You don't even have to go over here and fumble about the layers. Just press Control and left click. Now next thing about this is you can pretty much just hold left click with your mouse and just drag it all over the document wherever you like. It doesn't matter where, you can drag and you can left click and drop, and you can put it back where you want it. What you can do is you press isolate layers, and you can essentially mess around with one layer and not affect the others, or you can not isolate layers and you can have them all together, or you can just press that down there. But pretty much that's all this right click does. Now this is the select tool. So essentially what you can do with this is you can go on this shape, which is the square. Two squares overlapping means you can just do that, and then you can add another one and you just left click and drag to make a shape. Or you can do this one where you can select and then it'll minus from your selection. So this area isn't selected, this outer area is. Or you can do this one where it crosses over and it'll basically do this middle section here. Now what you can do with this is you can essentially, if you hold shift, you can create a perfect square, and that can be useful in many different situations. For example, here I can make a perfect square here, and then I can use my move tool. I can essentially move this area outside of the box, and then I can just, just left click and you're left with this. And I can do the same again, hold shift, select this area, and you can move your selection by staying on the selection tool, or you can go back to the move tool and move this area over here. Now what's brilliant about the move tool is you can also scale stuff, so you can drag these corner parts out, and what that does is eventually, you can make it the size of your document, however big you like, or you can do the same, hold shift again, it keeps the aspect ratio. It'll keep it a perfect square if you just hold shift and drag. You can also go reverse scale. You can press escape to go back to normal, and Control D deselects. This is all on the same layer. This is within the same layer I'm editing. The next one on the list is the Polygon Lasso Tool. Now what this does is essentially you can just create a shape. So you just click, left click, you'll see a little point appear there. You can left click another place, and left click the place you started. Now this will create a selection of your choice, and what you can do is you can move this out of there and you can create some abstract art. You could create a piece using this, you know what I mean? You could create a box by just going through here, but then what you could do is you could use this, and you could use this tool, and essentially what you can do is create a selection there, and it'll get rid of that, and then you can take out the middle section there like that. It works really, really wonderfully. I suggest using these bits at the top quite a bit. I don't use them that often, but if you do, definitely recommend it. Another thing that you can do is a lasso tool. Now this isn't the Polygon lasso, this is a regular lasso. Imagine it like herding cattle. So it's great because you can kind of freehand select the area you want. You can do all sorts of weird shapes, and then you can take that out of the area and it leaves it behind. It's really, really nice at creating things. You can essentially do anything pretty much with it, select anything, anywhere, move that sort of thing. Now another cool style of lasso tool is the magnetic. I use this quite a lot when selecting people. So if you're wanting to move people around in a picture or something and they've got like a really weird outline, what you can do is left click and it will just trace the outline of the shape, a bit like this, and then you just take it back and it makes a selection like that. The next tool is the magic wand tool. Now this is the one I use most. Now what's great about this is you just essentially left click a area of one color and it will select that. So you just select the grey and it will select the greys. This grey essentially. If it's on the same layer, it will select those greys. However, if I put this on a new layer by pressing Ctrl C, which is copy, or you can go edit, copy, and then edit, paste, or Ctrl V. If I do that, and then I select this, it'll only select this one. I can press delete, get rid of it, or I can move it around just the same, and that's on a different layer. So anything I do here, select and delete, won't be affected. If I do it here, it will be. Same with this, if I do it here, it'll affect this one, but it won't affect this one here. It's quite cool. Layers are really useful. I definitely recommend using them in your projects. The next one down here is the quick selection tool. So this is essentially what you can do is by using the bracket keys, you can change the size of this. And all you do is you just drag and click. So say I had used another color, say I'd used a lighter blue color, and then I'd crossed it over here. Now what if I wanted to select just the grey? You just left click and you'd bring it round and it would select just the grey area. You can press delete and it would keep the blue there but get rid of the grey. It works wonders. It's really, really useful. I highly suggest using this to select skin tones and stuff. If you wanted to get rid of certain parts around people's faces, definitely use this. So just use it how you wish. I'm just showing you what the tools do and then you can apply them to different scenarios. I'm going to go down to this one and this will be the last one of the tutorial. So cropping is pretty much just like cutting a picture. So what you can do is you can select up here, you can do a ratio. So you can do 1:1 squares and then press enter and it will crop it. Or you can do 4:5, crop that, which is also 8:10, 5:7, crop that. You can do your own crop preset. You can crop it to pretty much anything and you can choose, or you can use the drags and you just drag it. It's really weird, but you can drag it to any shape or size you want, press enter, and that's your document size now, and when you save it, it'll be fine. You also have an option up here to do delete cropped pixels, and what's great about this is you don't end up deleting everything outside here, but instead you can move it back over here. It's really useful. That's beneficial in case you wanted to change the size of your document. I highly suggest using this. Now what I'm going to go into is just kind of what you can do with the selection tools as well. All of them apply to this, all three of these selection tools apply to this. The crop doesn't, obviously, and the move doesn't. But the selection tools, what you can do is you can select this area. If you right click, you got deselect, which is Control D, and that basically gets rid of the selection. Select inverse essentially selects all the area around that selection as opposed to inside of it. Feather basically makes the edges blurred. I don't know why you'd want to use that, sometimes you would. Select and mask basically creates a thing called a layer mask, which I don't really want to go into just today, but that's essentially what it does. It creates an area around that shape. Save selection, you can save selections to your Photoshop in case you want to use them later. I don't use this very often, I probably should. It's quite useful. Make a work path. That essentially makes like a path that you can use the pen tool with. I don't really use that often, I probably should as well. Layer by copy, that basically makes a layer like that, just the same. You've got layer by cut, and what that should do, and it copies it. It basically gets rid of the area below this area, and it's quite hard to explain, but it gets rid of the area below and then you can just delete that. The next one is a new layer. You can create a new layer from the selection here, and that just makes a new layer essentially. It's just, I wouldn't use it. I'd use this button over here, and I think it's Control-Shift-N for a new layer. That's what I use. It's the best way. It's a shortcut, a keyboard shortcut. If you want to know any of them, just Google Photoshop keyboard shortcuts and look what you're looking for. Free transform is your free transform, and you can transform this selection, but you can just go to the move tool and do that. Press the tick to finish that. Transform selection, just the same, but instead of moving the actual shape itself, you're just transforming the selection. You can hold control and pinch the corners to make a weird shape. I don't know why you'd want to do this, but then you can use this and press delete, you know, press tick and press delete, and you can make some cool weird shapes. Another thing you can do on this is you can fill, so you can use the fill tool, and eventually it basically fills with the color that you've got nearest. You've got stroke, that essentially puts like a line around. I don't know why you'd want to use that. You might want to. I use it quite a few times. 3D extrusion, don't touch that. It will jack up your computer big time. I wouldn't touch it. Just don't worry about it too much. And then you've got things like, if you don't left click and drag and just right click, you can delete the layer you've got and press yes. Or you can duplicate the layer, or I use Control J, which just duplicates. If you look over here, it's just duplicating them. And you just press delete on those. And group from the layers, so it makes a group that you can put all layers into. Convert to smart object, you can convert this to a smart object and then apply filters. You can apply filters without it, but it makes it more adjustable essentially. Free transform, that essentially is just like the move tool. Color range, don't worry about this, don't touch that, it's not needed. Load selection, that's your selections that you might have saved. Reselect, that reselects what you've previously selected. Postcard, I wouldn't touch this if I was you because it's making my computer slow. And it does 3D work like this, and I don't really want that. So yeah, don't go into 3D mode essentially, because I can't get out of it now. Last one, 3D extrusion, don't do that again. We'll talk about 3D another time. But what's cool about this is you can basically do what I've done in this video and I've shown you. Remember, for copying and pasting, you can do edit copy, edit paste, or you can do edit cut. So you do edit cut and edit paste, and that'll cut it away from the layers like that. And that's all you really need to know about this today. I hope this tutorial was useful for you all. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a thumbs up. Comment down below your suggestions on what basically my explaining is, and if I did well, you know, give the video a thumbs up. If not, tell me why, and I'll hopefully cover it in a future video. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed, I hope this was useful. Be sure to apply this in your own projects, and the next video will be talking about brushes and eraser tools and fill tools and that sort of thing. Anyway guys, I'll see you next video.